Hey, all you minties! Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today for my overview of the Superman Camelot Falls Deluxe Edition from DC Comics. So, join me. Alright, so one of my most anticipated deluxe editions. It's one of my favorite Superman stories by one of my favorite writers and one of my favorite artists. Gone way too soon, Carlos Pacheco. Kurt Busiek, of course, writing the story, and now available in deluxe edition. Really surprised at this era because we had like Jeff Johns and Kurt Busiek and Fabian Nicieza. It hadn't been collected in an omnibus format. Who knows, maybe one day. Now, the stories found in here can be found in 2 separate trade paperbacks or 2 standard size hardcovers. Practically the same thing. So for the first time, though, we are getting it in deluxe edition, meaning that the trim size of the paper is bigger than that of your comic books or trade paperbacks. So we'll do a little comparison with the artwork here in a bit, but here's this amazing image from Carlos Pacheco. My gosh. And then the spine of the book right here with Superman up there, Superman Camelot Falls, the deluxe edition, Busiek, Pacheco, Merino, and then the DC logo. And then the back of the book with this iconic cover right there that they used for the trade paperback previously. So the weight of the world, and you have Superman literally holding the world in his hand, the ISBN down there, and then the price of the book being $39.99. Underneath the dust jacket, for mankind to live, you have to let civilization fall. There's that warning from Arion. We'll talk a little bit about the story here in a few. Kurt Busiek, Carlos Pacheco, and Jesus Merino. There's the bio on those creators. And now looking at the design underneath the dust jacket, so the art on board. It's this image that stretches across all the way to the back of Superman, perhaps Superman. And then Superman Camelot Falls, the deluxe edition. Alright, we're going to crack this book open, give you the premise of the story, show off this wonderful, beautiful artwork by Carlos Pacheco. And this is some of my favorite era of Carlos Pacheco's art, too. Now, I am going to be talking about minor spoilers because I'm giving you the pitch, and some people don't even want to know the pitch, but if you just want to look at the artwork, put me on mute, and then we'll look at the build of the book. Alright, let's go ahead and crack the book open. You have this pattern again of this could be Superman. Superman Camelot Falls, the deluxe edition. And Superman, the deluxe edition, Kurt Busiek, with Fabian Nicieza being the co-plotter of Superman 659. They had been working together on Up, Up, and Away and 321 Action, which are different story arcs. If you're interested in seeing the different stories and where they fit in reading order, I have done a reading order of Superman and talking about these particular stories. Carlos Pacheco and Jesus Merino, because Jesus Merino, even though he was doing a lot of the inks, was also doing some of the finishes, so becoming more of an embellisher. Peter Vell doing the pencils for 659, and then here's your colorist, the legendary Dave Stewart and Alex Sinclair. My gosh. Not to downplay all these wonderful colorists, but those are just big names in the industry. Comic Craft doing the lettering, Pacheco, Merino, and Stewart doing the collection covers. And, of course, Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Alright, so we do have a new introduction by Kurt Busiek talking about how he even got involved in the project, talking about how at one time he was going to be the writer of JLA. Oh my gosh, he did like one story arc in JLA, and then unfortunately things just happened. But having this story in the back of his mind all the time and never letting go of his story. I like that advice. He talks about how this is why you don't let go of stories that you have in you, because you may use them sometime. But he got a call from his buddy Carlos Pacheco talking about, hey, they want me to draw Superman. I only want to draw it if you write it. And it's funny because through here, Kurt says that he was never asked to really officially write Superman until the very end when one of the editors was like, oh, yeah, come over and write Superman. And of course, here we are with Camelot Falls. Very interesting story. So this collects Superman 654 to 659, 662 to 664, issue 667, and then Superman Annual 13. Now, The missing issues are all parts of different stories. This is a really interesting era. This is the post Infinite Crisis era of Superman. So he had lost his powers for a while. It's been about a year. Lex is still kind of missing, so that's why you don't really see him through these pages. And Busiek has to deal with villains that aren't Lex Luthor level. So it's really cool what he does. And yeah, he's kind of restoring his faith towards the people of Metropolis, believing that, oh, here's Superman, our hero is back. So that's this particular era, and those missing issues are all part of different storylines, like Back in Action or 321 Action, and stories like that, which some of them actually feature Kurt Busiek's writing. One of the biggest ones, though, is the one by Jeff Johns. That's The Lost Son. And that one is written by Richard Donner and Jeff Johns, but introduces us to a kid that Lois Lane and Clark Kent adopt. Well, that kid is found, just pops up through one of these story arcs in here. So if you haven't read that issues or those particular story arcs, you may be a little lost. All right, so what is the premise of this? Well, here we have Clark Kent adapting to his again, powers, and we have an old friend coming in and becoming the new CEO of LexCorp. That's right, Lana Lang becomes the new CEO. But the big storyline in here, my goodness. What is up, Lois, with your new haircut? Woo! All right. The biggest storyline here is the character of Arion, the sorcerer from Atlantis, comes and warns Superman. Yeah, this is where you get to see the character just laying around, and then he finds out, wait a minute, not all is right with the world. Something needs to change. So he comes with a warning, and he tells Superman pretty much that because superheroes have had such an effect on Earth's recurring cycles, they are going to lead to the destruction of Earth. Society and everything is going to be destroyed unless superheroes quit, unless they give up being superheroes. And this is the warning that Superman gets. So he has to make choices, and not just him, of course, because it's also the other DC characters. Like, what do you do? Do you set aside being a hero because you have faith in the ramblings of this crazy guy that says he comes from Atlantis and he's a sorcerer and he knows of things to come? Or do you keep on fighting the good fight and ignore it and figure out a way to do it? Well, it is Superman. So through these pages, you get some new villains. You get the character of Subject 17. It's a character very much like Superman. Instead of being adopted by wonderful Earth parents, just scientific experiments on this particular alien. Kyber is a big character through these pages. And we get to see this alternate reality where the world has just fallen, and oh my gosh, the artwork in here is very Days of Future Past, where we see Jimmy Olsen acting like a different type of character than we were used to seeing Jimmy Olsen act. We have a new character named Sirocco, who I don't think very many people did anything with. And what the hell is Parasite doing with these characters? So it's a really interesting take, and this is the character of Kyber, on the idea of a possible future or a possible alternate reality, I guess. But again, it's all has to do with the fact that superheroes need to give up being super because they are about to destroy our society. And again, beautiful freaking artwork. And that's the pitch. That's really it. You know, do they stop being superheroes? It starts off really strong. I love the beginning of this. I think to a lot of people that were reading these as they were coming out, the delays and then other books slipping into delays kind of killed a little bit of the steam of this. But it's still a solid story. It's one of my favorite Superman stories. You know, just having the idea of this alien that has been fighting for mankind, for humanity, all these years, and then learning that he might be the cause, doing all this fighting might be the cause of the destruction of society. And of course, Arion being the key there, like, is any of this true, or is there any other way to get around that? We also get to meet Callie Lewallen, a character from Clark's past, and the return of the new gods. So they do show up through these pages. So it's a bigger event than just Superman. But the biggest selling point to me was, and always will be, this amazing artwork. I'm such a fan of this classic art. I mean, even from the opening pages where he's like the colors and the line work and the layout. Oh my gosh. Pacheco was on another level. He has this classic feel to his art. You know, harkens back to the Golden Age artist. Oh man. Gone too soon, and oh my goodness, could he draw some ladies. We've lost some legends. And he was just young, though, and it's unfair. But yeah, the introduction is beautifully written by Kurt Busiek, talking about his friendship with Carlos Pacheco and how when Carlos asked if you want to write something, you say yes. All right, all the way in the back, let's see what extras. You have the series outlined by Kurt Busiek. This is new. This was not included in the previous collections, kind of giving you a little premise as to what each issues will be, separating part 1 and part 2. And then you get sketches. Now, I want to say some, if not all these sketches were collected before. No, wait. Maybe not. Maybe some of these are new. Actually, let's do a quick little comparison. These are the sketches you got in the first book. The second book had no extras. So that's, let's see. So you do get, interesting that it's red on black, and over here it's just black on white. But you do get the sketch. Okay, so there were thumbnail sketches that have been blown up. Although this is new here. But there's Kyber. Yeah, okay, so some of them are new sketches. And then others, I don't know why they decided to just keep them thumbnail. Would have loved to have seen full splash pages. So let's look at the build of this book. 256 pages, and we do have glued binding, but it does lay over really nice. Very minimal gutter loss. But you do have some. You can't see Superman's, the tip of his toes. So that stuff bother you, keep that in mind. The paper stock is this glossy paper. It's not high gloss, and it's not thick. Not as thick as like some of the Omnis. But yeah, it is glossy paper, as opposed to some of the matte paper they've used. But that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this book, don't forget to check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more.
And that was the content, the page count, and build of this book. Let me know in the comments down below if you plan on picking it up, if you already have the trades and you're satisfied with them, if you've never read it and you're a fan of Kurt Busiek and Carlos Pacheco. I would love to know all those comments. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and what other Superman stories you want to see collected in Deluxe Edition or Omnibus Edition. So, smash that like button on the way out. Everyone stay healthy and safe out there. Check out our Patreon and Spread Shop. Amazing ways to support the channel. Much love.